He's waiting on 8 o'clock, I think.
Yeah.
No, we got a new chairman, don't we?
That's right. I'm just playing on my phone.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Hancock County Commissioners, Board of Commissioners to order. Today's date is February 2nd of 2026, and the time is 8 o'clock. This meeting is being recorded and streamed for public viewing. By participating, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available. This meeting has been properly noticed in accordance with Indiana Code 5-14-1.5. Let the record show that a quorum of commissioners are present. The commissioners are open for business. We will now proceed with the agenda. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to join us and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Like a motion to approve the last meetings.
I make a motion we approve our minutes as presented.
Second. We've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All approve?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And now a
Motion
motion.
to recess.
Second. Motion and second is for recess for the Board of Drainage Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Steve?
Okay, I will open the February 3rd Drainage Board meeting. First item would be to approve the January minutes.
Make a motion to approve January minutes.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the January minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Chad, you want to take
Good morning,
over?
gentlemen.
Morning.
Yeah, let's jump down. They're here, so let's start with them. We're going to go to number 8 first, which is Ironbrook. Ironbrook is a new subdivision coming in Fortville. I have it up on the screen here for you as well. But it is off of, in between Fortville Pike and 200 West.
She didn't number.
She didn't number those.
There you go. Here.
It is actually Roger Wilson's land that is running through there. The Cal Jackson regulated drain runs through the middle of the property here. If you can see the big board there, it's running through there for where we're at. They're going to have a subdivision that's going to go the whole width in here in between Mount Vernon North to the north of it, and the school to the south, along with Mount Vernon Point over here, and then a single lot home here with on the corner. What they are coming for today is on where the Cal Jackson runs. Two things. First, we'll do the crossing. So they would like to get permission to put there's currently in the south corner here of their property, down here in the bottom, there's a field crossing that is used. They're going to take out that field crossing and they're going to put a street. So they need permission to put a road crossing across the Cal Jackson based upon a plan through the surveyor's office. I'd like to do that one first if we're good. Oh, and I'm sorry, do you guys want to speak at all, or are you good?
You don't need to unless we need the answer.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I should have done that first, but
So you're good with everything?
I'm good with everything yet for the crossing, absolutely.
Who's doing that? Is that MI Homes?
That's MI Homes, yep. Yep.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the crossing, of putting a bridge street across the Kyle Jackson as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the crossing of the Cal Jackson as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, so the second thing they're coming before you for, and I support, is they would like to, on the north side of the ditch, they would like to reduce the easement from 75 feet to 60 feet on the north side. And at 15 feet would allow those house lots to be outside the easement that's there. To the south, there is in the 75-foot easement, there's actually a pond and things that's outside the easement there, and all the way to the north. So we have plenty of room to work on the ditch for where it's at. This just allows the development to utilize that space for those houses so that everything that is associated with the subdivision is outside of the regulated range.
I'd make a motion then that we approve the reduction, the 15-foot reduction in easement that MI Homes is requesting from 75-foot to 65-foot as per,
60 feet.
or excuse me, 60 feet.
I would say on the north and east side of the ditch, just to clarify that in there, so that way you're going to keep the 75 foot on the other side.
All right.
Second. Oh.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the reduction from 75 feet to 60 feet easement for the Ironbrook subdivision on the northeast side of the Cal Jackson.
And there's a fee of
And a $250 crossing fee.
for the reduction of easement.
For the reduction.
Unless you waived it, you're fine.
Yes, unless you waive it, yeah.
Including the $250 fee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Yep, thank you. All right, so I don't see Mike here. So let's, we'll just go down the list then. So let's go with approving claims. So number 2, I know it's crazy, I'm going to go in order here. So you have the claims there for January 21st and February 4th. There we have started to do brushing and dredging that is there. So on the January 21st, we have some log jams, some brushing and dredging there on Buck Creek, along with Charles Breyer, and then Daniel O'Hara there for February. And then the assessment money's on the underside. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but every year there are ditches that other counties do the work on, but we have absolved our right to do that. They manage those ditches just like there are some that we manage, that we take money from them. So this is the money that we've collected on those ditches that go over to those counties so they can do work on those ditches.
Make a motion to approve claims for 1/21/26 and 2/4/26 as
Second.
presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the claims for 121 and 24 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next would be the approve of the encumbrance for the Coon. We had a large log jam down there off the Coon. It's down just north of 52. There was 3 different areas back in there, and took a little bit more than the money that we had in it at that time. Encumbrance, we just encumbered the whole amount from that standpoint, so that way we'll pay it back then as the money.
This is the whole amount, or?
That is the amount that is encumbered for.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the encumbrance for the Coon regulated drain from the General Drain Improvement Fund in the amount of $4,429 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the encumbrance for the Coon regulated drain in amount of $4,429. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, let's go to number 4. So this is Huntington Heights subdivision. So we are just off 700 West, north of 100 North. Mr. Zarat has a piece of property in the old Huntington Heights subdivision. When Huntington Heights was put in a long time ago, there was not necessarily any drainage put into. So have the regulated drain that runs, Snyder Branch runs over here. As you can see on the map here, he's on Glendale Lane. It runs through here. Down south of him is Buck Creek. Here. In his lot that he is going to look at the building here, there is no good drainage there. There's no tiles in the back. There's nothing that is there. So Mike Gibson is doing the survey for them and came up with a solution. Creating a dry well on this side of his driveway. On the there, it's just north of the road there, behind the right-of-way on his ground. Note on the plans, it'll be 25 feet away from any tanks or deliveries, 6 feet deep, 6 feet wide, to allow that water from his perimeter tile to get into there. Not having a crawl or a basement on the house, from my understanding. So it's just a place for him to have an outlet. There's no elevation there for him to run a perimeter to daylight it, because it would be under the ground.
So his perimeter tile runs into that dry well, and then the dry well just has a drain that runs out of it.
No, the dry well does not have a drain. It just dissipates the water eventually through the
A French drain.
It's like a French drain. Yeah, yeah. It's not our,
In the old days.
how you want to say, it's not our most optimal thing to do, but it, from that standpoint, it keeps it on him. And from where he's doing it, it's not within a vicinity of another home. And it allows that to stay on his property for where it's at. And he understands.
But if it overflows, it overflows.
It overflows, it overflows.
So is there is it the lid for it, or is it just open? What?
So
I mean,
what it is it's a hole that they dig in their yard. They dig it 6 feet deep, okay, about 6 feet wide. They fill probably the bottom 2/3 with stone, maybe 3/4 with stone, and then they put dirt over the top of it, and the tile runs into the stone. So what happens is that water goes into that, and it just fills that in it, and then it'll work its way into the ground. Yep, for where it's at. So, yep, just a little French drain system. So it's, yeah. We use them in situations where we really don't have another issue that's there. So that would be my recommendation that's there, and that's where he's at. So it's a variance to daylight is really what it is. He's looking for a variance to daylight because he doesn't have a 8-inch tile on his property. So his variance is to daylight it into the French drain system that he's going to be constructing on site per the plans. And there's a $250 fee to do the variance to daylight.
I make a motion to approve the variance to daylight with the $250 fee for Mr. Zarat?
Ready?
Zarat? Yeah, okay. As presented with $250 fee.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the variance to daylight for Mr. Zarat in Huntington Heights with the $250 fee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, next on the list, our table of transfers. So after our fall assessment, we have a table there in front of you. On the table, the current balance in the drain is on the left side of the table. The right side, the next column over, is how much it brings in annually. We collect half of that in the spring and half of that in the fall. So that's how much we bring in. The amount owed is in the red column in the center. The next column is the amount we would like to pay back to each ditch at this time from ones that we have. And then on the end, it's the remaining owed. We will be paying off I think there are 4 or 5. There are 4 that we will be completely paying off. The Amity Branch, Cornerstone, Mingle Arm, McFadden, and the Poly will be back in the black for where they're at. And then some of the other ones, they're getting back down to where they probably will some of them will get paid off again in the fall. Some of them are generating money to get more paid off. So we're getting closer and closer. The total amount at the bottom, as you can see, that we're paying back is $26,850. Still leaves a remaining balance of $186,055.43 that has been borrowed from the general fund to pay repairs, but is slowly working its way back down.
Slow and steady. I'd make a motion, we approve the table of transfers as presented by the surveyor.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the table of transfers as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
All right, number 6
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
For instance, on the table of transfers at
Yes,
the
sir.
top, we have several that we're paying nothing back.
This time, correct.
And they're pretty small. Do they need to be relooked at as far as,
How much money they're bringing in?
yes?
Well, it all depends. On some of them, kind of
Sure.
like Bauer Estates, that one, it collects $250 a year, so there's not very many people on that one.
Right.
And, it owes $1,000. So to actually have a hearing and to have the people pay a little bit more
Well,
just to
that
pay
one
it
in
off.
particular, but there are 4 more there in that category.
Yeah, there are some. The Mingo and Frank, we just dredged last year, and also, if you remember, we were not collecting from Madison County on that one. We sent a thing out last year, so they actually are now collecting on that one. There was a snafu at some point that they were not collecting for that, so that was turned on this past year for where it's at. The Cooley is a brand new drain, so it's going to take some time, and that's the one we had a little bit of an issue with one of the contractors for where we're at. Buck Creek Meadows, that's another one where it is relatively new for where it was at. It was brought on, and we are building that one back up for where it's at, so it takes a little bit of time. So some of them, that's where they're at. The ones that are the big ones, the Josh Pratt, we're slowly working on to bring it back down. The Cooley's just going to take some time as it's brand new. And then Sunset Manor, we put 4,000 in this time. Next time we'll put more in. It's a brand new one as well. And so that's why those numbers are a little bit larger for where they're at. We're trying to get to the point where it's a, how you want to say, it is a tight rope to walk sometimes because the way that the prices of everything have gone up, if you put it too low and then there becomes a repair in there, then you just put it more in the red. But you don't want it to get too much in there that you have so much money in there that you could be paying it back to it. So kind of a balancing act. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
I understand. A couple of them look that way to me.
Yep. Yes. And so that's kind of where they're at. And so, the question is, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit when we talk about on-off ditches, and we'll talk a little bit about that next time when we talk about the classification of drains, whether on some of them we need to have a hearing and increase the rates on some of them. Not always the most popular thing to do, of where you're at. And if you're within statute of where you're at, it's not more than 4 times on a drain that has been established for a period of time, you're okay to continue to work it back down. When it becomes a certain amount over that and you're not making progress on it, then you have to have that. So that's, I get your concern. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any other thoughts on that, Steve?
No,
Okay.
just throwing it out.
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Understood. Yeah, we try not to put them in the red if we cannot, but
Well,
work still needs to get done.
when you get back to the bottom line, I forget exactly how much we got, but I think that's 20% of the drainage fund out or so, right?
Yep.
Not that that's concerning to me, but,
Right.
you know.
Well, for the amount collected, this is only the amount collected on these ditches. So the amount we bring in every year on all the ditches is a whole lot more than this. This is just the amount on those ditches that are in the red right now. So those are the only ones that are shown. All right, we good to move on to the next one? Okay, so next on off. So we're not turning any ditches off this year. There's none that we need to do that with. There's a list of ditches that we'd like to turn on this year. In the middle of that list is the BF Ham. The BF Ham is an interesting ditch right now. We are doing a little bit of research on that. None of you guys were here when we did that the last time. This was early or late 1990s, early 2000. There was a joint board that was created between Madison County and Hancock County for the BF Ham to do. It was not on assessment at that time. It became on assessment and was created by a joint board and looked through a lot of the feedback and records and things that were there. The majority of the drain is in Hancock County, about 60%. 40% of the drain is in Madison County. So under those rules for the Indiana Drainage Code, that ditch can't be, one county can't say, hey, you take care of all of it. It needs to have a joint board. So the question now is, do we need to reconvene the joint board? The last time it met was 2005, which was the last time it was on, to start to recollect issues that are for there. And so Steve and I have been talking a little bit about it. That's the way we're leaning. And if the way that it was last time, the way that a joint board is designated, the county that has the majority of land in it, usually the surveyor from that county is the lead on that aspect of it. And but usually there are two people from each county and then one person not from either of those counties. The last time we had two people from our county that were on it, and then we had two people from Madison County, and then one person from Henry County was on it. So part of the thing will be to reach out to the people who were on the board before. Some of them now are deceased. So, and as far as I know, none of them are still in public office. So I think that would change things around a little bit. We would probably have to, put a letter together back to both boards. At that time, the chairman of the board was from our county. And actually we had two people on our county who were in it. And we had the election of 2000. And then those two went off because they were no longer commissioners, and two more came on. So, it was a long process for where it was at. So we have it on there. We'd like to turn it on, but there's a little bit more things we're going to have to do. It probably will not go on this year because of the steps we're going to have to take. It's got to be in by March for what's there. But so just as an FYI, coming down the road, there will probably be a joint board for the ham that will be reconvened so we can turn it back on for where it's at.
So what do you mean by turning it on and turning it off?
So great question.
Damage.
So great question. So when a ditch, so on their table transfers that you saw there,
Yep.
okay, so every year we collect so much money that comes in the ditch. We use that money to do repairs, different things on the ditch, okay? So whenever we are collecting on those ditches, they are considered on.
On, okay.
Okay, so they're on. If it ever gets to 4 times, if the amount in the fund gets to 4 times what you collect annually, okay, then you turn the ditch off, okay? Because it's collecting more than you're doing repairs on, that money is sitting there. Now, there are a number of ditches. Last year, we had a number of hearings where on ditches that really weren't bringing in that much money, that the state code allows you through a hearing to take those from 4 times to 8 times. So there are a number of ditches that we have, and we'd like to get most of them to that 8 times. It's a smaller fix than having a hearing and raising fees, just because of the rising of prices of things. So once it gets to that point, it goes off. So there's money in that fund. You can still use it for the repairs and things that you have on the ditch. Once that number gets back below that amount again, then we ask to turn it back on. So that means there's not as much money in that fund if we have to do repair Maybe it's a little bit low. As you can see here, the coon's getting turned back on, and it had an encumbrance. So it wasn't on. The money went a little bit over. So once we turn it on, that money starts coming in. It'll pay it back. Some of the other ones, the amount that are in them are obviously the Lance Caraway is one that gets turned on anyways, just because it just got approved. But some of the other ones, the money in them is getting lower. If we start doing some repairs on them, we're going to have to encumber money. So you want to get them back up into a safe spot that we don't have to worry about that. So that's what on and off is. Okay. And then we get this, as you saw on the fees that we did for the claims, we send a list to the other counties for the ones that we are collecting on, whether they're staying on or coming off. So that way they will do the same thing at their drainage board meeting of, hey, we need to turn these on. I don't think there's any from any of the other counties that we didn't already have on that are coming on, and there's none that are going off. So even from the ones that are from the other counties right now, Hamilton County is the main one that we have ones that we pay to. McCord Point is the only one, and it's still on, that it actually goes through Hamilton County eventually for where it's at. So does that help?
Yes, it did. I
Okay.
make a motion to approve the turning on of the drains presented.
Second?
Been moved and seconded that we turn on the drains as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, now the fun one. So CenterPoint Energy is running a gas line. Figure if I do it from, it's in your packet, number 7. They are doing a line from our county line to the north, from Madison County. Eventually, that line is going to go to Shelby County. So it's going to go all the way through our county. Okay, so they originally stopped, they have come into our county this past year and have stopped at 1,000 North. They brought plans in to the highway for road crossings of what they were going to do going south. And those made their way to my office, and they found out that even last year when they came through, they crossed a legal drain and didn't realize that they are crossing 10 legal drains, 10 different spots, or 9 different spots, sorry, 9 different crossings. On there are the crossings that you have. I have them, thing for each one, and I'll just bring one up to, add one up, which is
All this back
thing
here
for where they're at.
What I'm thinking it is.
must be.
So we gave you instead of giving you the major thing for all of them, we gave you just a GIS picture of where they're going to be crossing at.
How big is their line?
It is a 16-inch gas line. So it's not a small gas line. It's running north to south. And just so the board understands and knows, so here's an issue where they're crossing the ditch here on the McFadden. And they are going to be 7 feet minimum below when they cross the ditch, minimum 2 feet below when they cross any tile. We're going to have them pothole once they get to each tile. I have had a number of conversations with them because the depth that they are wanting to run in most places is the minimum of the requirement they need as a state utility, and it is 4 feet. If anybody understands drainage a little bit, that most private tiles are right around that area. So we've had a lot of good discussions with them. I know they have talked and have negotiated, I guess would be the best word, with a number of landowners to get easements to run by through their private property for where they're going. But we have let them know that, we will expect them when they cross when they get to a private tile, that they are to go under those tiles, not to go over them. And at first they were like, "We'll fix the tile." I'm like, "How are you going to fix a tile when you have a 16-inch gas line running on the same elevation as your tile?" I don't think that works. Water doesn't just find a way. Make sure it continues to go downhill. So,
And anything in the future,
and anything in the future, correct.
which,
Yes, and so now they're going to have an
Very
easement as they go
difficult.
through there. So,
big of a pipe.
so this is their major section, well, their northern section, I guess would be the way to say. They are going to be stopping in this group, and in this part, this one stops just north of, well, just off of, just about Lark Ranch is about where they're stopping on this one. So they down, they cross Fortville Pike, they cross over here, come down through the Fuller, where they're at, down 200 North, back over. They are actually, they're stopping, actually not Lark Ranch, they're stopping right up in here. So just about 200 North, that area. They will eventually go south. I've seen preliminary plans where they're going to be in the easement of the W.F. Wilson going south, and then they're going to continue to go through the county. So there will be a number more as they come back through for where they're at. So at this time, they are looking to get approvals. So this year they can put this section in. And then at the end of the year, we're looking to approvals for the southern half of the state, southern half of the county, to do that portion next year. So we will be able to observe them a lot this year as they work through these 9 crossings, if they're approved, and make sure that they are doing what we want them to do in relationship to how they're doing it. I just get a little hesitant sometimes, and I'll say this in a public meeting, I get a little hesitant when it comes to big companies that are running lines through there that are state utilities. They sometimes believe they can do what they want to do.
Yes.
And so
What are you
want to
talking
make sure.
about, surveyor?
So we want to make sure that we protect the
How much
landowners and the farmers
authority
and
do we
the
have?
people that are there. And so,
Like to say you have to do this or that or so deep or,
Authority to approve all crossings. Whether you want to pick a fight with Centerpoint.
and the state and everybody else, that's
I
your
mean,
call.
they go to the state and say, no, we're not going to do that. Go tell them to.
So they've crossed other counties.
Yes, so they're coming from Shelby County and they're going to, they're coming from Madison County and they're going to end up, they're going through Shelby County. I don't know how far they're south they're going. I
But
just know
now,
what
do the other counties just let them pick their depth?
So we have parameters of what we want them to be. So 7 feet below an open ditch,
Only on
is-
ditch crossings.
is for all ditch crossings, right? The only thing we can technically regulate are regulated drains. I can have conversations with them about, private tiles and things that are there, things that I would like for them to do, and to do that. Do I actually have authority to tell them on a private tile what they can do? No, I don't. But from the same standpoint, when you're looking for approval from someone, you want to make sure that you stay on good standing with them. So that's been part of our conversations.
It's really no different than if 9 Star comes to ask to cross. The control you have is the depth. At some point in time, you may want to have a conversation of the crossing fee. Not for this amount of money is not significant.
Right.
That may be something down the road you want to have.
Right. Yeah, because they
They
still,
also do require the hold harmless.
yes, we still.
Are they buying
Hard
easement
tile.
for a lot?
So they are buying easement for where they're running their
They're
line.
not just putting it in the road.
Correct. They're not putting it in the road right away. They're crossing the road when they cross the roads, but they are actually buying their own easement off of all these landowners, all the way down south through. I've got plenty of phone calls from plenty of the farmers and different people in this area as we've had these conversations.
Full
But
disclosure, I represent quite a few that are in negotiations and have entered agreements with Centerpoint on.
yes, yeah. And so they are working through things in their agreements of what, and I've been asked a number of times of what my
I got a
opinion
couple of
is.
old
And
pipelines from 100 years ago and they pretty well screwed the landowners.
Should have called the attorney.
yeah,
Well, I mean, I don't know how, they're pretty old pipes, but they pretty much did what they want.
And this isn't this isn't a small line. So 16-inch gas line is not a small line, so it's a pretty significant investment for a utility as it's coming through there. So as Steve said, right now our fee is $250 per crossing. I will tell you that they've already sent a check for the 9 crossings. If they're approved, that they've already sent it in. And so there's, next year or if at some point this year, if we want to turn around and say,
Probably needs to be a consideration because it is a pretty significant ask to cross, whether it's a
Correct.
open, from my perspective. Something you might want to consider. That $250 has been there
For a
since
long
I've
time.
represented the drainage board.
as long as I've been here.
It
So,
probably needs to increase.
yeah, I mean, there's a couple of fees that we're going to talk about here in a couple months of different things. But, and maybe there's a consideration for the size of crossing as well, for the size of tile that the thing they're going to put in. 16-inch gas might be a little bit different than a 2-inch telephone line. So just throwing that out there. But their request, they have a hold harmless for each of the crossings that they have signed, along with detailed drawings for each. So our crew will be, we've told them we need to know when you're starting, so we can be there for each one and verify. And we're having them GPS, if it is approved, each of the spots, so that way they are at the depth and spot they need to be at. So there is no question of, hey, you've done what you're supposed to do. And they didn't, well.
Do you think that's deep enough?
7 feet below or
7 feet? Is that
7
what-
feet, but 7 feet below the bottom of the ditch.
Is it deep enough under the tile, though, the 2 feet?
So
under the
2
tile?
feet under the top of the tile should be, from a standpoint. Because if we need to fix on a tile, if our contractor goes 2 feet deeper than the tile, the bottom of the tile.
I'm not just thinking about that, but, when you get more roofs and more pavement and more, everybody wants the water to go away. And if you want to make the ditches deeper to carry more water,
Well, it's,
way into the future.
as flat as our county is, it's very hard to make them very much deeper.
I understand. You can't go any deeper than your outlet.
Correct. And so for most of the ditches that we have, even on the grade that they're on, for us to make them deeper, it would be
I was just
challenging. We probably, honestly, for a number of them, we would probably run dual tile.
So how deep is it any other place? Is it all 7 foot or?
No, it's 7 foot when they cross under an open ditch.
But
And then it's, when they're running through the county, the federal regulations are they have to be 4 feet below the top of the ground, okay, at a minimum. And so they are constantly running 4 feet below unless they come across the tile,
And then
which
they
is a
go
regulated
under it.
drain, then they have to be 2 feet below that, or a ditch, which we regulate, which they have to be 7 feet below the bottom of the ditch. So, that's kind of where, so I believe, and I think they're going to be open cutting a number of it, and some of it they're going to be boring. But when they go under the ditches, we've told them we want them to bore under those for where they're at. And there's been questions of, and we've had conversations that if they get, and they have to open cut through a tile for where they're at, of how they're going to bed it and put it so it doesn't sink in that spot. Anytime you go underneath, if you're not boring it, you destabilize the tile, right, and the ground around it. So that is the proposal that they are bringing forward to you. So there's 9 crossings, 9 utility crossings for the drains that are there. For CenterPoint Energy, they have sent in a hold harmless for each. And then I will leave it to you. And they have sent plans.
I make a motion that we approve the 9 crossings as presented for CenterPoint Energy and the 250 fee and the hold harmless.
Second.
Okay, that's fine.
And then we, on the other end, not attached to this motion, before we do any more approving of these things, we go back and look at
Discuss.
our schedule of fees and let CenterPoint know not to get out ahead of their skis and send a check to us. that says
But their check was
basically-
based upon what our fees are now. So
I
I
get
get
it.
that. And we tell them all the time, don't send us a check unless
Yeah.
until it's approved, because
Right,
if it's not approved, then we're just going to tear up the check.
right.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the crossings of the
9 drains?
9 drains as presented by Centerpoint with the $250 fee per crossing
And hold harmless.
and hold harmless. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
A couple of things. You'll see there on the bottom there, we called it drainage overview. I'd like to take just a couple minutes, and Gary asked some really good questions this time, which is really good, just to kind of continue to help us as a group understand a little bit of why we do what we do and why it's there from a standpoint. And so the conversation about on and offs was very good for what was there. Next month, we'll be bringing in what we call classification of drains. And so just a little bit of history on that from the standpoint is prior to 1965, if you wanted to have a drainage issue resolved in the state of Indiana, you either went to the commissioners and they figured it out, or you went to the courts. And a lot of times when you went to the courts, is where they created what they called legal court drains, is which a lot of our regulated drains were before we considered them regulated drains. In 1965, Indiana passed what is known as the Drainage Act. And that's where it created the board that you guys sit on, along with different aspects of the way that this works. And so they took it out of the courts and brought it to here. One of the aspects of that was when they did it for the courts, you could bring a petition in to create a drain that would become a legal court drain. And then the next step, if you chose to do it, you could create assessments for that. So people would pay in, and then the government would take care of it. But it was not a mandate to do that. So prior to 1965. After 1965 with the drainage law, the way that the law reads is once they bring in a petition for a legal drain and it is approved, then you create an assessment for that legal drain. All right. Now, whether that was consistently held and kept from 1965 for a little while until people understood what they were doing, I can't say whether it was or wasn't. But so that's why nowadays, if we create a new drain, Cooley Ditch, Sunset Manor, whatever, we automatically not only create the drain, but we also create an assessment fund with it. Okay. So in the meantime, there is a quasi amount of ditches. We have 34 in our county that are considered legal court drains or regulated drains that have no assessments to them. Okay. So they are under the authority of the board from a standpoint of if people want to build on them, do them. It has the opportunity in the future, if they want to come forward and say, hey, we'd like for this to be on assessment, it's already a legal drain, and there's a process for that. But if there are repairs that need to be done to that drain, okay, technically, it is the responsibility of the landowners to take care of that, but they still should come to our office to get approval to do that because it's a legal drain. I will tell you that doesn't happen. Right, just from that standpoint. But it also gets into the issue of you have a drain out there that's a legal drain, it's not creating money. The other thing that the Act of 65 did was it created a avenue every year. I come before you and give you a list of the drains that we have in the county. As those drains, they can only be classified one of 3 ways. One is a drain that's on maintenance. So a drain that we're collecting fees on, that we're working on, it's working well, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and we're maintaining that drain for where it's at. So that's the first category. The second category is a reconstruction. So it's a drain that isn't quite working the way that it should, that we know that it's got issues with it. It's still being maintained. It's still classified under that maintenance part. But there is a plan in the future, whether it is stated or it is something that is on that list that can move forward, that drain is classified as needing of reconstruction. Okay, and those create hearings, and those hearings can be brought forward by a landowner, there are 10% of the landowners in the thing to do a study to do that, or the commissioners could say, or my office could say, hey, we need to do a reconstruction to do this. The third category is to vacate the drain, is to say, okay, the drain is no longer under the category of the county. It's now going to be a mutual drain that is going to be just maintained by the landowners. So those drains that we have prior to 1965, some of those in the median there that are not collecting assessments, for us to classify it right now, we can't classify it as on maintenance because we aren't maintaining it. We can't classify it as reconstruction because we can't have any money in there to do that. We'd have to create a hearing. And three, we could vacate those drains. So what we are in the process of doing is looking at those 34 drains. First, making sure those drains are still there. They're still functioning, that they are still carrying water. They're not full of mud for where they're at. If they are obsolete or not there, we'll bring a petition to say, hey, we think these things should be vacated because they're not working. If they are still working, then the next avenue is to actually have a hearing and say, okay, folks, do you want this to be, here's the watershed for this drain. Do you want this drain to be on assessment? If they don't want it to be on assessment, or if you choose that it's not going to be on assessment, then it's to vacate that drain and just become a mutual drain for those people, okay? Because we just have this quasi area that just doesn't quite mesh with the code for where we're at, okay? And sometimes, you know, it's been a happenstance of pushing things down the road. Sometimes it's been the understanding. It is what it is. So we're going to try to bite that bullet as we walk forward. But that's just a little bit of education on that. Just for your information, we have 237 miles of open ditch in our county, okay? We have 332 miles of tiled ditch in our county. So we have 569 miles of regulated drain in our county right now. That number does change just about every year. New subdivisions come in, we add regulated drains. Some that we've had vacated, especially in the McCordsville area, right? And so we take some of those off. We are actually adding a lot more than we're taking off. And just as a visual, it's about 73 miles, 74 miles if you do the perimeter of our county, if you walk the perimeter of our county. So if you took all the regulated drains in our county that you guys are seeing over, you go around our county almost 8 times. So 7.5 times. So it's a lot of area, okay? And everybody in the county drains to something. And some of it is regulated drains, some of it is, you know, non-navigables, but most of it is people are avenued with that. So next time we'll be talking about those drains that for the 3 classifications. I just want to give you a little bit of a backdrop on that for where that's at for that standpoint. Okay. The other point that I have of information, we have a bid and we have accepted it, and he should be starting here whenever the weather gets to a point where the snow is gone, for Blake Thompson to do the work on the Lance Caraway. So that was a bid that he put in for that, and it was accepted in our office, and so and that will be paid by the highway. Per the agreement of the hearing, but I wanted to give that as information for the group so that way you understood where that was at and where it's going through. The plan is to have it done before planting season. So where we're at. That is all I have at this time. And did we get to, we should probably, so we had talked at the last meeting to have the Cranberry hearing was going to be at 8:30. So what we should probably do is we should probably suspend the Drainage Board meeting, open up the hearing, and then move it to 10 o'clock because Eric can call in at 10 today, because it doesn't have to be advertised from that standpoint. The board could change it forever they want, and then close that hearing again. I just want to make sure that that's taken care of. That'd be about the right way to do that, Steve.
Yeah, and you made that announcement at the start, so just go ahead and make that announcement. I don't think there's anybody here in the crowd, but just let them know you're gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to close this meeting then.
No. Recess is, I make a motion to recess this hearing till 10 o'clock,
Well, we got to open it, don't we? The hearing?
at 10 o'clock.
Recess the meeting until 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Second. Moved and seconded that we recess the Drainage Board hearing meeting until 10 o'clock. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So you want to leave these here? I guess.
You can.
Leave these
Just leave
here,
these here.
because we've got that, this is what we're going to approve, basically.
Are we on pause? Yeah.
We're going to reconvene the Board of Commissioners meeting. Jane,
Good morning.
good morning.
We're here for the Hancock County Board of Finance, and first on the agenda is election of a president and secretary.
So I would make a motion that we elect Gary McDaniel as the president of our Hancock County Board of Finance.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Gary McDaniel as the president of the Board of Finance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And I would,
Go ahead. Election of secretary.
I elect Jane Klemme as our next secretary.
Second.
We've got a motion and second on the floor to elect Jane Klemme as our secretary to the Board of Finance. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second, or opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And then we need approval of last year's minutes. And you guys should
I'd
have
make a
those in
motion
there.
that we approved last year's minutes as presented.
Second.
Board of Finance.
There's a motion and second on the floor for approving last year's minutes for the Board of Finance. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And then my report, in front of you this year, the Statement of Investment Policy. We do this every 4 years. It ends when my term ends, which will be in 2028, December 31st. So I need approval of the Statement of Investment Policy, and I just handed you those.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we approve the statement of investment policy as presented to us by our treasurer.
Second, there's been a motion to approve the Statement of Investment Policy to be approved. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then we have to adopt each year another part of the investment policy, and that you have that in your packet. It just says investment policy. It basically takes the one that we just did and combines and has to be done every year.
So I'd make a motion, we approve the additional Hancock County, Indiana investment policy as presented.
Second, there's a motion and second on the floor to approve the investment, the additional investment policy for Hancock County. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. I'll have you sign that when we're done, along with bills. Also, in your packet, I'm required to, you have the surplus transfers that we did last year, and you also have the outstanding warrant checks over 2 years. And by statute, I have to present that to the board also. So you have that in front of you. Grand total of the over 2-year-old checks were $1,424.94.
Do we need to make a motion to accept any of that information?
Yes, yes, you do.
I'd make a motion that we accept the surplus transfer information as well as the outstanding warrant information presented by the treasurer.
Second, motion and second is on the floor to approve the outstanding warrants and transfers presented by the treasurer. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And then you also have in front of you the different banks, but we don't need a motion for that I use, the different descriptions and the ones that are all active. Any questions about those?
None heard.
Okay, then we'll continue. I always say that we're required to meet annually, and the board is made up of myself and you guys. And what I've done this year in January, of course, the interest rates were dropping. So they started dropping in October and then in November and December. And I moved some money out of one account that had dropped real low. And I transferred $30,000 out of it. And also, the $30,000 went to, I gotta find it, Trust Indiana. And then the $500,000 that I took out of it, I transferred to our Golden Sachs funds. They were both carrying quite a bit more interest than the other two. I've tried to work with this bank, and they just can't get us the rate that the other two banks that I deal with can, actually three banks that I deal with. So we did, then you have the big long paper I always give you every year, and it shows what interest we've collected. And we're down over $1 million this year with a drop in interest. But that's pretty good because the rates stayed up there. And CDs, the banks were paying higher than CDs, so I didn't invest. I'm actually meeting next month or this month with our investor to see what I can do. The rates are holding right now, but we don't know when or what's going to happen. So the only good news that happened was we gained in the RDC money, $17,946. So that was good. Do you want me to go over this? I put out in red what's in the general fund, and you can see it's the interest was $2,555,519.32. Trust Indiana in that general fund was $770, $208.98. And then our Star investment was $1,209,571. So the grand total of interest was $4,920,988.36. And last year is when we had $5,987,000. So.
Gotcha. All right, well, we will take your word for it. We're glad the rates are still high.
They're decent, is what I call them. And that's all I have.
Okay.
Any questions for me, or?
I think we got all your documents signed,
Yeah.
and we're good.
Mary?
And I'll have you sign those, and we just need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the Board of Finance.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, we signed a couple, but
We signed copies already down
we
there.
want those.
And that
I didn't
Yes,
sign,
we-
I don't think we
I
signed.
didn't see that one.
Okay,
has to sign this one.
that one's, oh, gotcha. There you go.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Morning, Gary.
Good morning. I have a thank you letter I'd like the commissioners to sign for Governor Braun between the three projects on Bridge 67, County Road 300 North, and the Steinmeier Road project. The state increased all of our funding levels by a total of $5.5 million, which really helped in CUMCAP, Adds another $20 million to the RDC, or sorry, $2 million. So add that to her 17,000 and we're getting there. And to Cume Bridge as well. So the same letter I have in the packet I sent. It's basically just a, it helps.
Every little bit helps, we'll take it.
While you're signing that, we are still talking to Jack and Sons. We're not talking to them now, but they've got the offer. We're sitting on that right now. That expires in June. Road info was accepted. Ryan got that in and is accepted, so we added some road mileage to our program. Some of that money is going to be going to we're transferring it to help with the schools on the purchase of their FF&E. Mary, despite my bad emails, was able to get that transfer completed. So we got $1.2 million moved in there so we can pay those school bills. Mary, I don't know if I've asked you or not, but I need to be on the next council meeting to ask for some different appropriations on the stuff listed
No,
here.
but I will make a note.
I just need to be added on there. They'll be for the mower head, some equipment that we use. I talked about it the last meeting. And just some general, I forgot to make some appropriations, so I need to make those added for our culverts and stuff. So if I could just be on the next meeting, Mary, so I can get that
That's
advertised.
next week.
Yep,
On there at 10 a.m.
thank you. I believe all of our change orders are approved at the old jail and prosecutor's office, so we should hopefully get those closed up. And when we get those projects closed up, we can discuss future projects at those locations.
Yes, they were asking about that the other day.
I'll get with Suzanne of HCSS and make sure she's talking to the city for the allocation of the city's contribution to the micro transit or senior services transit. Possible disaster funds. I saw your email on that, Bill, whether or not we'll be able to get, obviously the last snowstorm was quite a bit of work and it did cost quite a bit of money to the county. See if we can get, if the feds are participating in that. We've kept everything documented. And if there's an opportunity, we'll try to claw back some of that money for the taxpayers here if we can.
And I can tell you, I've had people come up to me and say, you guys did a great job. So
I appreciate that. It was tough. I mean, we were slow to get the neighborhoods, obviously, because the main roads will get treated first. So we don't officially treat neighborhoods, but when it gets 12 inches, we try to help out. And I think everybody can get around now. So, but I saw plenty of shoveling. It was a lot of snow. It was a lot of snow, and it was cold.
Team effort.
Nobody got hurt. We had some equipment damage. So we'll get that fixed and move on. We learned some lessons. Some lessons we learned in past years, but we'd forgotten, like the Sanders froze up on us, but we'll adapt and overcome on that. We're still chasing part of the solar panel money. We've got half of it. We're trying to chase the other half, so we'll keep working on that. We're still at a 6-year ROI. I was reviewing the bills there. I always like to see if the projects are successful or not, and we'll have our money back in 6 years, so it'll be a successful project.
This is the solar that's on the
county highway department. I was hoping to get it totally for free, but we haven't got totally for free yet. I have to get the rest of that money. But with the government being how it is at the federal level, we'll see if we ever get it. Bridges, 300 South. 300 South will close next week. It was going to close this Monday. We can't really see the ground, so we didn't get started. We just left it open until we get.
at the bridge between 6 and 700.
Yeah, right by the church down there, right by Zion, just to the east or to the west of Zion. So when we get a little more workable site conditions, we'll get started on that. Sarah was good enough to get the ordinances printed out. So we do actually have those for this meeting. We have the 3 ordinances for the speed, stop signs, and fees for permits. And I believe those are in your packet. Are those in? Is that for later in the meeting, or you want me to do it now?
No, let's do it all. We'll just get it done.
Okay.
You know, with you. So Sarah, I need an ordinance number. Okay, I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2026-2A. It's an amending an Hancock County Code of Ordinances, Title 7, Chapter 71, Speed Regulations. And then I will,
Second.
well, this
Oh,
doesn't need
don't
a
need it.
second, but you go ahead and I will make a motion to suspend the rules on the day of introduction, ordinance number 2026-2A.
Second. There's a motion and second on the floor to suspend the rules on day of adoption for ordinance 2026-2A. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Then I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2026-2A.
Second, order, first and a second to adopt 2026-2A on on the day of adoption.
So,
All in favor?
yes.
Me, yes. Motion passed.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and introduce ordinance number 2026-2B. It's an ordinance amending Hancock County Code of Ordinances, Title 7, Chapter 74, Parking Schedules. And I'd make a motion that we suspend the rules on the day of introduction, ordinance number 2026-2B.
There's a motion on the floor to suspend the rules on the day of adoption for 2026-2B. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2026-2B as presented.
Second, there's a motion to adopt 2026-2B on, as presented, yeah. And all in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Motion passes.
Got a little tongue-tied there.
And then I'll introduce ordinance number 2026-2C. It's an ordinance amending Hancock County Code of Ordinance, Title 7, Chapter 73, Traffic Schedules. And I would make a motion that we adopt, that we suspend the rules on the day of introduction, ordinance number 2026-2C as presented.
I second that. There's a motion and second to suspend the rules for 2026-2C on the day of adoption. All those in favor?
Aye. Then I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance number 2026-2C as presented.
I second that. There's a motion and second to adopt ordinance number 2026-2C. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
There your ordinances are, sir.
Okay. I have two contracts for microsurfacing. One is for our CCMG 2026 grant, and one is just for a regular microsurface contract.
And is that the bids? Oh, okay.
I was going to say they're not in our, they're not in our red folder.
Hancock County.
Okay.
For a not to exceed.
Okay.
Not to exceed.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we enter into an agreement with Pavement Solutions for a project known as CCMG 26 Microsurface in an amount not to exceed $332,427.20 as presented.
Second, there's a motion on the floor to approve or award the contract between Hancock County Highway Department and Pavement Solutions. The project known as CCMG 26 Microsurface, and an amount not to exceed $332,427.20. All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. I got to sign that, don't I? All of us do.
I'll make a motion that we enter into an agreement with Pavement Solutions, Inc. for the project known as 2026 Microsurface in an amount not to exceed $178,393.60.
Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And just redo this a little bit. There's a motion and a second on, and approval to enter into an agreement between Hancock County Highway Department and Pavement Solutions, Project 2026 Microsurface, and an amount not to exceed $178,393.60. Motion's been approved. Oh, we didn't sign that, did we? Okay.
Okay, on the back of what I handed you is just some information I got last week. One is covering, we just went to a red, or I would rather call it a warning because that's what it is in the law. If you look on the left side, you can see we have advisory, which we'd call yellow, watch, which is orange, and then warning, which is red. And there's actual Indiana law that applies to all that. So when we make it red, it does have an effect on all the citizens and businesses. So keep an eye think about that. So there's information on that. At the top, I was asked to get some of the J-turn information throughout the state aggregated, so I did that. So you can see, if you want to read through that, you can read through that. But other than that,
J-turn, the reduced conflict intersection, basically.
whatever they want to call them, M-cuts, there's 1,000 names for them.
Sure.
You talking about the one out at 640? Is
The one that's currently, I think that's the only one active in our county.
Okay.
But, they're active throughout the state. There's the ones on the top left have been installed already. And then on the right is the numbers I pulled from their engineer stuff. Now, I'm not going to do the engineering on it, but the guy seems competent, so I just put that information out there so you know. It's not really our thing because it's US 40, so it's not our road, but just for your information, I was asked to put that. And then below that is all the law about the snow situations. So, barring any questions, that's all I have for today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cory Taylor?
Good morning.
Good morning.
First thing I've got for you is a proposal from K&K Fence. This is to furnish and install a 24 by 6 by 1 galvanized chain link cantilever slide gate. Demo an existing damaged gate post and reconnect the existing slide gate to the operator. This is at the county highway for a total of $8,830. This is to make some repairs on the gate.
Okay. So,
And we can pay that out of building maintenance.
We're gonna have a lot of expense coming out of building maintenance. I mean, we could do what you guys want, but just keep in mind, we're gonna have a lot coming out of building maintenance.
Just quick question, though. I mean, how are these getting damaged? Are they by our vehicles or?
or they wore out.
I'm not exactly sure. I was
Oh.
contacted by the highway, said to
Okay.
get a quote to repair a damaged gate.
Okay, maybe there's some safety follow-up within that. I mean, I think we'd approve the bill, but just to say, hey,
I believe Gary's probably on top of it.
okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the quote from K&K Fence for repair to the county highway entrance gate in an amount not to exceed $8,830 to be paid for out of the county building maintenance fund.
Second. There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve the $8,830 to repair a fence over at the County Highway Department, and it be paid for out of building maintenance. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Sorry.
Next thing I've got for you is, I received an email, it was forwarded to me from Derek Adams in Environmental. I believe Penzi.org is requesting and looking at what is required to put a vault toilet at County Road 400 Trailhead. I told him that I'm not sure what your recommendations were. I don't know what your direction is on that. The one thing I will ask you to consider is maintaining of that vault toilet.
I don't know how
I think
excited about that I am.
at least in my opinion, I'd like some more information.
Yeah.
on it. You know, I'm not so sure what really is going on, and maybe there are some things that came through emails that I just didn't spot, but last week was the first time I'd even heard anything. I'd at least like to hear the information on it before to make a, more informed decision. Because right now, I haven't heard anything say that the rental portalets that we have out there aren't handling the capacity we have or being damaged or whatever. So
Sure.
we need more information.
I'll reach out to the organization, let them
Okay.
know if they
They need to
like
come
to
and present
proceed with
anyway.
it. Yeah.
So,
I guess my suggestion would be with Nine Star Park coming and water and utilities going to be at that location, possibly see if there's a chance to put actual restrooms in at the trailhead there. Once we have a Parks Department, that
Right,
could be
well,
maintained through the Parks
You're
Department.
right. Then it comes down to who's going to maintain. How are those going to be maintained?
yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, I will, I'll touch base with them and let them know.
Okay.
As you know, there's been a lot of issues with the elevator in the courthouse. Part of it is temperatures, which I am going to look at trying to get air brought into the elevator control room. But part of it is that elevator's 30 years old and parts are just failing. So the most recent part that has failed is a drive board. The drive board is not available in the United States. It's in Germany, and most of them that the vendor is finding are used. So I'd asked him to see if he could find some closer and give me some pricing on that, which he does not have yet, but he did call me right before this meeting. I also asked him to quote replacing all the electronics, keeping the cab, but updating all the electronics, all the drive components. And he did inform me that I will have a quote coming in at $284,000. So
To rehab it, not to replace it, but just to rehab
to
it.
rehab it, that's putting.
But that's
all the
new
electronics.
controls. That's something that we can readily get if something were to go wrong.
Sure, it would be updated equipment. Yeah, that's part of the problem is that stuff's just outdated and hard to get, obviously.
It's been there quite a few years.
We keep putting money into boards. I want to say we've got a bill coming for, I believe, around $12,000, plus some maintenance issues with them coming out after hours. We can keep putting money into it like that and keep putting Band-Aids on it, or we can look at trying to just resolve the issue.
Well, that's it. I was going to ask you, we might as well get a quote on what a brand new system
Sure.
costs
And
as
at that,
well.
at that price, we'd need to do an RFQ, correct? Is that something, do I just get with your office on that? because I've not spent that much money.
Scott, would you take care of that, or, I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I can do an RFQ. I just need information you want in it.
Okay.
Okay. Just get with Scott. He'll help you out there.
Okay.
It seems like we're just going to throw money at it and at it and at it. By the time we'd thrown the money probably that is needed to repair it in, we would have said, let's put a brand new unit.
And the people and the citizens of this county hate me right now when that thing's not working. So
Well, yeah.
I'm tired of being hated.
Well, that's the secondary Hancock County Health Fitness Program right over there if you want to go up upstairs, just. But we understand and we, we're working on it diligently. I'm sure we are to try to get
Oh, yeah.
those
We're doing what we can.
parts. It's just whatever we're left with, walking up the stairs is really the only
Sure.
we have now. So
And it's working right now. So
I just want to let you know that I've got Scott Wood with Etica.
Yes,
He's
sir.
putting together a proposal.
Okay.
He would have had the windows today, but he's got to do something for his family. But at the same time, he's going to actually add the doors onto that also.
Okay.
And he will meet with you and I on the 17th
okay.
after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
The next thing I've got for you, there's I believe it's a spruce tree, northeast side of the courthouse. It's dying and leaning. I need to cut that out. So just FYI, unless you have any different thoughts on it, I need to have that removed. So that's
Wanna
actually
remove
what Bob Vale was trying to find a way to get up there today, and just there's too much going on.
can we get a replacement in there too, like a starter?
I can look at that. I need to, I guess, request permission to get service at 601 West Osage, the Quonset hut. The Weights and Measures is utilizing that space. Need to try to get some light, some power. I may put electric heater and some garage door openers out to that. The city does not do, I wanted to do a 100 amp service, they do not. So I need permission to get a quote to add power to 601 West Osage, 200 amp
Grade
service.
to 200 amps.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That'll
That
help
can
to-
be paid for out of the 2026.
Well, we'll see what their quote is, but it all depends on what that back to as to where we'll.
And that would just be paid from what, utilities? To add
I
service to
would
a
think
new?
that be paid out of a bond somewhere.
No, it would probably come out of a potential CCD fund that we're repairing a piece, some kind of capital that we have.
Well, I just mean the recurring monthly electric. I didn't know if that would go to Gary
Oh,
Poole.
the bill for the electric,
Yes, sir.
the ones
Be
that
our
come in monthly.
That would come out of our utility fund.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, that.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about the payment for what you were going out to
No,
get
no,
a-
sir.
get
The
a
monthly
quote for.
payment, because I think Gary Poole's right next door. I believe he pays his own. Okay. Okay, so am I good to go ahead and get quotes to?
Yes.
Okay. Sunday, 2 a.m., I got a phone call from Greenfield Fire that we had low pressure on a sprinkler system. We temporaried an air compressor in to get it up and going. Got some repairs that need to happen with that, and I'm hoping it's not too much.
Is there a leak somewhere then? Is that what we're thinking?
Possibly.
Can they put some dye
There
or
is a
something
problem
in
that
there?
we spotted with the generator, with the air compressor, but the air compressor was installed in '24, so they're looking to see if it would be under warranty. It's the electric motor on the drive. So there are some things I just want you to be aware of. There are some things coming. With the snow removal, I'll have some considerable bills. Had to call out Vince Feeney, the elevator, some of the emergency service calls I've had. I just want to make you guys aware that I have some large invoices coming in. Other than that, that's all I've got.
And the same goes to you, Cory, for you and even the Feeney's helping to get these buildings, lots clean, sidewalks clean. We appreciate it.
And doing it while you were sick, that,
It's part of it. The one thing that I do appreciate is you guys allowing the county vehicles to be parked over there, because that is a huge time saver. If that saves me an hour, it's huge. So thank you for letting me.
that's what they can park there, nobody, in nobody's way.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we still got more time. John Jokantas.
Oh, Chad's here.
Hold up.
Back.
But we can't start that till 10 o'clock, can we?
No, this is a section.
Oh, different. Oh, okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
Section corners.
Okay, sorry, John. Sorry.
Stand down, John.
And he's got a tie on
Unloose
anyway.
Take your tie and unloose it a little bit.
So I have, being the county surveyor and a non-registered land surveyor, by code, I have to have the ability to have a registered land surveyor to certify the records that we find and utilize in our office. So by code, we go and get quotes for people to do that. Preferably, it's a person who lives in the county, who is a surveyor and is able to do that work. And we try to get somebody who doesn't do a lot of work within the county for where we're at. And so the last couple of years, we've used Ryan Selby with American Structure Point. So the contract that is before you is for professional services for Section Court Perpetuation for Ryan Selby. I think it's $190 per hour for him to certify our records. And we pay that out of Section Court Perpetuation Fund, which doesn't come out of the county general. It's a fund that we have based upon the number of recorded documents in the county.
I'll make a motion to approve the request of the surveyor to enter into a contract with American Structure Point for corner perpetuation services with an hourly rate not to exceed $190.
Second, there's a first and second on the floor to enter into an agreement between Hancock County Surveyor and American Structure Point and with an hourly rate of $190 plus reimbursable expenses. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Get too far. Okay, John Jokantas. Just want to make sure you got your exercise. I think he's got good news or something.
I feel a little safer. It's near the first of the year, so we do have money. If it was the end of the year, we'd have concerns.
So one of the things that I did want to bring up, and Cory's already left, but they did a fantastic job on our stuff, keeping our people able to get in and out of there. So it was, he usually gets in before, about half hour before every shift. That way it's clean for them to get in and get out. So very much appreciated. So my two items today, one of them is to approve the quote for 2 vehicles to replace our 2 current vehicles. And again, this is just to approve the quote to move forward. Obviously, there will be more paperwork to sign. And the total for each is $54,852. They're the Chevy Tahoes. They're not making, like the version that the Homeland Security Director had, they're not making that version this year, which is actually oddly more expensive than this version anyway. So this is the exact same quote that the sheriff has from Kelly Chevy in Fort Wayne. And again, it's just to move forward so we can start with all the other paperwork. This was approved out of the 2025 bond. we had $120,000 set aside for these two vehicles. Obviously, we're going to come in a little bit lower than that. And then for any type of emergency lights, those would come out of the 911 bond, and we'd come back for that. We already have radios for them, so.
So, okay, yeah, $109,704.
Yep.
All right, I would make a motion that we approve the 911 director to seek a quote for two 2026 Tahoes as presented on his request, an amount not to exceed $109,704 to be paid for out of the 2025 GO bond proceeds.
A second motion and a second on the floor to allow the E911 director to pursue a quote for two Tahoes as presented. It was $109,704. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
If once we get the paper, this is the first time we're buying new. Obviously, the other ones were hand-me-downs. So when that happens, there's paperwork that you need to sign, correct?
To surplus the old ones, is that
Yeah.
what?
Well, we're not, like I said, I think we may try and hold on to mine because mine's in way better shape than the deputy director's. The deputy director one just needs to,
Surplus it, get it
go.
gone.
And then on the actual purchase, though, do I come back for that to get the actual purchase approved, or is this what we're doing?
I think you can probably go seek it.
I'd just go seek it because we just approved the quote there.
Okay.
An amount not to
Okay.
exceed, so
So if we're on a timeline for ordering, can that be, if the commissioners need to sign something, can the president of the county commissioners sign that outside of?
Make a motion for that to happen, can't we?
you can go ahead.
Yeah, because we can authorize that now.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize Hancock County Commissioner President Gary McDaniel to sign off on an invoice for these two Hancock County 911 2026 Tahoes at a time other than our regular stated meeting.
Second, motion and second on the floor to allow myself, Gary McDaniel, President of the Commissioners, to sign off on a completed contract for the two Tahoes. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Awesome, thank you.
Motion passes.
Because I think we're coming up on the 2026 ordering date, so, but I'll get that as soon as, now that we're past this, so. The second item I have is something that we've talked about a couple times. It's the door access equipment for the current project for 123 East Main Street, the old jail, for Nelson Alarm, to have them start that work as we get closer. You had talked about potentially CCD. I had mentioned, but I don't know if it can come out of the 2025 bond because I know there's spending restrictions, but the third option is, since my total portion of the 2025 bond was about $750,000, we're well under that by about 40-ish thousand. If it needs to come out of the 911 bond to get it done and have nothing else, then we can do that too. And then if I need, like, the front door replacement is where the money is, the money that's left over right now that I would need, if that can come out of the 2025 bond, out of that 750-ish that we had approved for us. So, but I just wanted to give you options. And
Mary would be,
Mary, I forwarded that email to Mary, so she's going to check into that.
okay.
Okay.
I think there's maybe an issue with trying to commingle different bonds
Yeah.
with different things, and that was the one reason I thought CCD, but that's.
Okay.
But I forward that to Mary, so she'll take a look at that and
But I
let
don't
us
think
know.
we either have an issue of this project going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that would, and then, so if you should have a signature page somewhere. Yeah, it's on the, depending on how it's printed, it's on the last page of the quote, so.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the equipment sales agreement between Hancock County and Nelson Alarm for a job at 123 East Main Street with involving controllers, card readers, battery and wire, and an amount not to exceed $31,055 with a fund to be determined at a later date.
Okay. I'll second that. There's motions and second on the floor to approve the equipment sales agreement between Hancock County and Nelson Alarm. And amount, it's for controllers, card readers, all that for the community corrections. And it is not to exceed $31,055 as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
And you shouldn't see me next meeting, but I will be back. We have some contracts to be reviewed coming up here for the first meeting in March. I sent. That's a beast. That's a beast of a contract. So, and then I'll have a couple. We'll also be working this month on the RFQ for the windows, and then I have one other one that I'll send to you as well. So that's it, and I thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you. Didn't gouge us too bad, so that was easy.
What's that?
I said you didn't gouge us too bad. That was easy.
John, come take a look at this. And I probably messed up, but at the same time, am I considered the customer, or is it you?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay. 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 Miriam Rawls.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here to request reimbursement for my professional license fees. I recently renewed my notary license, which included a background check, continuing education, the exam, my seal, and a surety bond. And then when I submitted for that reimbursement, it was suggested that I appear to present the approximate amount for all of my professional license fees. So the total request will not exceed $1,800, which includes the notary license I've already paid for. And I've provided a breakdown handout for reference on the back that includes the title producer. Well, you've got the list there. Would you like me to read through it for official notice, or?
And this has got your insurance also? Your
I do not have E&O insurance with the county. That should be a separate discussion with the attorney and our insurance company, which would be.
Because we do need you to be covered.
Yeah,
So,
we need to
Yeah.
definitely talk about that, but I'm not here today on that particular item unless you want to add that to into the
Got a
discussion.
question. I don't think we have a problem reimbursing her. Right now, I'm not seeing a fund. Would we create kind of separate fund for that, or could we call it, could we get it under office supplies? Would that meet that? I mean,
Wouldn't
that's,
be able to be paid under it.
What about
too.
continuing education? Is there an education fund?
Well, there's meeting travel lodge, but
and that's probably the,
look and see if there's an appropriate line. It would definitely probably be in a 3.
okay. Miriam, I think we can get you reimbursed. We just need to figure out whether we find a fund or we need to create a fund.
Perfect. That works for me. The other amounts will come due at some point this year that are on the top of the estimated cost breakdown. And then the previously paid is in the second lower section. So,
Okay.
but regarding errors and omission insurance that
Yeah.
you asked about,
Yeah.
we should probably refer to Attorney Binky or talk with our insurance
We can probably
companies.
get a quote on that from Brian Breeze.
Yeah.
Right. I can reach out if you'd like me to do that, and then
Yeah. Yes,
would you like me to
please.
come back and follow up in front of you here?
Yes,
Or
yes.
okay, I can do that.
All right.
All right, and then you'll let me know of a fund number later. Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We need a motion for this. Or cost.
Let's work on trying to find a fund before we make a motion
Okay.
to actually get money out of there.
Okay. Works for me. So it is, we take a break here. Make a motion to recess.
Let's do claims and pay.
Okay, go for it.
I'll make a motion, we approve claims and payroll as presented.
Second, motion approved claims and payroll as presented is on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. You want auditor's business?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Have you got a big, long laundry list for us? Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
I don't, are they out, a lot of them were out of town that day.
Yeah, I don't
think they were.
I don't either.
I talked to Scott and he led me to believe that they weren't going to have one.
Ryan, and what we were going to do with the presentation, we can do it at a council meeting, then same, information. So just go ahead and make it a regular commissioners meeting, no combined meeting.
Yes.
Now the trailer has came in. Back for more money, I just want.
Okay. We were aware of that. I mean,
Around $8,000 with the trailer.
yeah, we got to have it.
I'll have him scheduled for the next meeting.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Want to do
Let's
the
go ahead and do the board appointments.
board appointment? And
Yes.
Alexander. I'll make a motion that we appoint Alexander Huth to the Impact Fee Review Board with a 2-year term ending December 31 of 2027.
Second, motion to approve the board appointment for the Impact Fee Review Board and allow Alexander Huth, which is a CPA, for a 2-year term. It'd be December 31st, 2027. All right?
Yeah, that's a 2-year term, or excuse me,
Yeah,
2028.
yeah.
2028.
That's what I thought, 2028.
I was thinking over here.
All those approve?
Aye.
Motion passes.
2028.
Oh, it would be 27 at the end
Well,
of it.
we just started this, so it'd be, if it's in 26, 20,
Oh, so, yeah, it would be now. Yeah.
the beginning of 26 and then.
Okay. Anything else?
I think we're good.
Think we're good?
Recess.
I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we recess our meeting for solid waste.
Second. Motion and second to adjourn the meeting for our solid waste meeting. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay.
call to order our
I know,
solid
it might fall
waste
out.
management board meeting, just to let everybody know this meeting's being recorded and streamed for public viewing. By participating, you acknowledge that your image, voice, and comments may be captured and made publicly available.
Make you look like you're real tall.
Miss Allender.
Do you want to approve the minutes from the?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from January 6, 2026.
Second.
It's been a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And I abstain because I wasn't here. I wasn't even appointed to the board.
Okay. Next up, a director's report.
Okay, we have a few invoices to approve. So in your packet is the January contractor agreement. Verizon for, looks like December. I don't know if I've gotten the January one paid yet. A couple invoices for advertising through AIM Media or the Daily Reporter, and then the New Palestine Chamber of Commerce membership fees.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and second on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And contractually, did we get everything worked out with?
No, we're
that, or is
gonna,
that still an ongoing?
we're gonna talk about that in a
Okay.
little bit. Sorry.
Well, we'll do it. So is that going to be within the approval or between the, in your director's report, or should we go on to old business? and-
It's at the bottom of old business.
Got it. All right. Old business.
Okay, so first up is the IDEM tire grant. I thought they were going to notify us in January to let us know if we had won that or not, and I haven't heard anything, so I'm hoping that that's not bad news, but I don't have any new information on that. And the same with the IDEM Swiffer grant update. I have not heard anything about that as well. And the Hancock County Community Foundation grant, that was submitted, but I have not heard any information on that either. And I think I just submitted a letter of intent, and then I think I actually have to apply for that grant, and I don't think those applications are due for like another month or so. So they're going to let me know if they're going to invite me to apply for that grant or not. So, and I haven't gotten that notification yet. Our Christmas lights and tree recycling went very well this year. So the light recycling, we collected 1,800 pounds of Christmas lights, and majority of that actually came from New Pal, so that was pretty impressive. But we had locations at New Pal, Greenfield, Fortville, and McCordsville this year. Last year's totals were 715, so we got a little over about 1,100 more pounds of lights, so that was really good. And then our Christmas tree recycling also did really well. We had 14 trees that were mulched last year, and this year they had 70. So we really got the word out this year. So that was really good. I was really happy to see those numbers go up. The No Cold Feet shoe recycling is the shoe collection drive that we do through the schools. We have 8 schools that are participating. I did have to postpone the collection of that. It was supposed to be last Friday. But some of the schools were virtual almost all week, so we extended it out through this Thursday, and then we are going to be going around and collecting all those shoes. I've got a team of volunteers that are going to be helping me on Friday collect all those shoes, and then we are actually bringing them here into this room, and we are going to sort through them. Changing Footprints, they're struggling with volunteers right now, and our shoe collection really overwhelms them. So I told them we would help them out this year. So I've got some Eastern Hancock athletes that are going to be coming in, and I've got some volunteers from my church that are coming in. And we're basically going to be separating out the usable shoes from the non-usable and just get rid of the ones that are not able to be reused. And
just by doing that and maybe boxing them up by, men's, women's, and children, that'll help them hopefully not be quite so overwhelmed this year. So, and that shoe sorting is going to be next Saturday, or actually this Saturday in here. We're going to be in here from about 9 to 4. So hopefully we can get through all the shoes. I'm estimating approximately 6,000 pairs of shoes. So we have to go through about 1,000 shoes an hour in order to get through all those. So I'm hoping to get that all done. We'll see how it goes this year. And then I've been in talks with GBC Bank, and they want to partner with us on our collection events this year. And they have, we went over the final, proposal of it, and they are willing to provide 2 paper recycling shredding trucks, and they're going to have 2 staff members per truck. They are also going to hire 2 off-duty police officers to man both entrances to the church. One we're going to use as the entrance, the other as an exit, but we're worried about left turn people, so we're going to hire 2 police officers to help us manage traffic, because I don't want them backing up onto the roads. But I think we should have enough room in the parking lot that I don't think we're going to back out onto the road, or at least we shouldn't. They are also going to design and print some signage for some sandwich boards. I told them they are willing to promote the bank as much as they want, to say that they are providing these services free of charge, so we don't have to charge the residents to do their paper shredding. They're going to pay all those fees. So that's a really great partnership. I'm really excited about that. And they are too, because now they don't have to host it. So they're happy to have us do it. On to the director contract. In your packet, there is a copy of the contract and some of the items that we need to discuss. Voted to approve it the last meeting. But after that, after I got the revised copy, I decided to send it over to my lawyer to have her review it, just to make sure that I was being equally represented. I just wanted someone else to look over it that was, skilled on looking at contracts. So skipping over the first item in red, jumping down to number 1, the terms of the contract. We decided we needed to include verbiage that either party may terminate the agreement with 10 days' notice, and not just Hancock County. So I wanted to take note of that, and that's under bullet point number 1. Number 2 is, actually that was under number 2. So the second item is under bullet point number 5. The hour or the monthly rate was wrong. Originally, it was based on taking the contracted budget amount for 2026 and dividing that by 12. But actually, in my 2026 budget, we pay the December 25 contract through November of 26, and then December of 26 will be paid out of 27's budget. So after you deduct the December 2025 contracted amount, you divide the rest of those months, or divide the remaining amount by 11 to get the monthly amount. So I just wanted to note that that is a little different than the original contract. Bullet point number 6, there were a couple of items, duties on there, line item 1 and line item 7, that I don't do, so I wanted to make sure those were removed from the agreement. And I requested that those be removed last time, and for some reason they didn't get taken out. So just minor things there. Number 7, bullet point number 7, non-exclusivity. I do still have one customer from my graphic design days that I still update their flyer. It's a Christmas tree farm. I update their flyer every fall, it takes me all of like 5 minutes to change the dates on it and get it ready for the next year. And I don't want to tell them to go find somebody else. I've been doing that for 20 years. And I don't feel like that's going to interfere with my work here at the district. So I wanted to change that exclusivity part to non-exclusive, just because I don't want to break our contract. And then the biggest part of the issue is with the contract being, you guys had requested it to be with me personally instead of with my business. I have a 501, or I mean, not 501, I have a corporation business called Dede Designs that I had requested that the contract go through. And I talked to my lawyer, and she didn't see that there was any reason why the contract couldn't be through my business and why it had to be through me personally. I've gone back and forth with Scott about this, trying to understand his reasoning. There were some things that he mentioned to me prior to, or actually, I guess, before, and I had told him, I told my lawyer, and we covered some of those issues that he had mentioned was being an issue, but I feel like we covered those issues, and I don't really understand why he still is against that. I've done research, and it's going to cost me about $5,000 in additional taxes if you go through me personally. There are some tax advantages by using a corporation, so that's going to cost me extra money. And then the other really big issue is liability. So I do collection events, many a year. I do school programs, and some of those school programs include food items. So I am just scared to death. What if somebody gets hurt at one of my collection events? We have it set up where the residents don't even have to get out of their vehicles. We have volunteers that are, or vendors that take the items out of the people's vehicles. So really, there shouldn't be any reason why anybody would get hurt. I mean, could be a volunteer maybe gets hit, I don't know. And then I'm also really worried about my school programs. Since I do serve food, if there's some kid, I mean, I always ask the teachers ahead of time to get any allergy information. I try to bring foods in that avoid those allergies, but we're dealing with, I do programs all the way down to kindergarten. And what happens if one of these kids eats something that they're allergic to and they get sick or worse? So I am just like scared to death of getting sued, for, I don't know, them doing something that's going to hurt them. So by contracting it through my business, it does give me an extra layer of that liability coverage. I've talked to an insurance agent, and he recommended that I do get additional liability insurance to cover me, whether it goes through my business or me personally. He's estimating, I haven't gotten the final numbers, but he estimated that it was going to cost me another $5,000 to have adequate insurance to protect me. My husband and I have been working all of our lives to work towards retirement, and I don't want someone coming and taking all my savings and house and all that, so that's where I'm at.
Maybe I can shed some light on this. The prior contract that Dede has had was with their LLC before my time. It's not appropriate for us to contract with an LLC when she is the actual director. This is a governmental entity. And I tried to explain that to her, that it's not a vendor contract. Contract with vendors all the time, and that's okay. But she's actually the director of the solid waste district. And so that's where there's a difference. We shouldn't be contracting with an entity that really doesn't have any, there's no substance to it. It's a business entity that does other things for her. It's not her directly. And I think this is really, Dede does a great job, And, you know, I've been able to work with her in talking about all this. She apparently ran this by a lawyer, but I don't agree with that attorney because that attorney is really advocating for her because she wants the tax advantage. And whether or not that is a meritorious, that's not within my purview. I'm not a CPA and I'm not going to comment on that. But I think that's the primary reason that she wants it that way. Liability, that would be an issue. I don't ever anticipate that we would ever have a breach of contract with her, but she is an independent contractor and it's possible. And it's also possible that she would have a breach of contract against us. We would never want to contract with an LLC in that situation because it's hollow. There's nothing there. As far as insurance, you should probably already have insurance for your LLC if it's doing any business. If it's not, that's your call. But you're the director of the solid waste district. So it's not the LLC. And we would not contract with an LLC. I didn't want to take a hard line on because I understand, and we are trying to do what we can to help Dede in her role, and I understand that. But I have to give you the legal opinion, and that is the legal opinion. We should not be contracting with an LLC. It doesn't do. First of all, it's not an individual. This is a director position. So that's the main issue with that. The other issues with the contract, I don't see any problem. The old contract had a couple of those provisions on duty, and that's why they were in there. They were already there. So taking those out, if she doesn't do those, that's fine. The change on the amount of monthly, that's appropriate. So with the rest of it, exclusivity, I mean, if you're only doing the one thing with that, I don't know how that really, we're just trying to avoid ghost employment issues potentially and things like that, because we can't have somebody doing things, for two in a dual role, even though you are an independent contractor. And that was something that we spent a lot of time on in reviewing and asking for information on what time she was committing, because she's going to be keeping a record of that now under this new contract, which was something that we wanted. So really the biggest issue is this, we need to contract with the director, not with a LLC. That was the hang up. I know that's not what Dede wants to hear, and I understand there could be tax issues there, but.
Can I just say something? So it's not an LLC, it's an incorporation. I've been incorporated.
It's the same thing, Dede, okay?
Okay, well, anyway, it's, my position has been contracted with CGS, which is also incorporated, for 9 years, and then my business for 4. So I don't understand how it's.
I just explained it, and I've explained it to you several times, and we're not going to, we don't contract with a corporation. We don't do that. You're the director. If you were a vendor, it would be totally different. If she was working, if we were using your company to supply things. I've been very respectful, and we've had a good interchange about this, but I'm not, I'm hearing the same argument over and over. And, it's just, I'm not going to relent on that. I did explain to her it's your decision, but I don't think it's the right thing to do.
So are you contracted, you personally, or are you contracted through your law firm?
Personally, and I'm an attorney. That's a professional service. I don't work on a board. I'm not a director on a board. And that's not even analogous, okay? I know you don't like my answer, but, I'm sorry. That's, we can't always accommodate these kinds of things. This is a governmental entity. It's not a private business transaction. Sorry. That's just, I knew this was going to come up, unfortunately. It's in a public meeting, so.
Any additional thoughts from the board members? in my own opinion, and not speaking for the board, I think we have to look out for the best interest of the county and where the county stands. Liability-wise, I'm not totally sure of the contract law, but I lean into the information that our county attorney gives us as good, credible, truthful information to keep the county out of any kind of liability or trouble. I understand, at least I think I do, where we were with the contract before all this and trying to get it straightened out. I'm not sure if they were ever really looked at, carefully before to make those decisions. But in my opinion, I don't think we have any other way but to make this position something that's signed on to, not by an LLC, but by an individual, just by the nature of the contract. I don't see any other way around it. Again, I'm looking at what I like you as a friend and as a personal person, but when I have to think about who I'm protecting here, I'm protecting the county and not myself. And I believe that's the information that our legal counsel has given us to go.
How do other counties do this position? Are they county employees or are they contracted also?
I think it's mixed, but I'm not sure. But I don't know that other people would have a business to be contracted through. I feel like I'm kind of a unique situation. So theirs probably go directly to the person. I don't know.
I would doubt there's a contract out there with an LLC for a solid waste district.
We hire Scott for a reason, and that's to get his opinion. And he works for us. He's trying to keep us safe. I still say that, it might come down to having to, hey, you make a choice. I mean, it's whatever needs to be done. I've known you for almost 20 years. So, I mean, you've always done a great job and done a lot of promoting.
Yeah, well, I understand Dede's confusion with this a little bit because at one time CGS, we contracted with them and then we had a director. But I never thought, I don't think you can do that. I was never a fan of it. And we've had a couple other things happen and we went to State Board of Accounts. And I just don't think it's a good idea to have a contract with a company and then we have a director. She's more tied to the county than that, I believe. I mean, you all as commissioners have the ability to hire and fire the solid waste person because we had to do that at one time. So, yeah, I agree. I just don't think it's a good legal way to do it.
And then I think we discussed potentially hiring her as an employee.
Yeah, that would probably have been the way to go.
But
I was for it, but I was by myself.
I think the problem had become trying to justify the salary versus justifying what you had the ability to show was being done. And some other members of the council had questions about that. So do I think that that's a potential? It is, but it may not be for the salary that she could get that is listed on the contract right now.
And I think she wanted the flexibility of being an independent contractor.
That was true. That came along with, hey, do you still want to have the ability to work from home or do some different things? And that was a yes, because if not, becoming an employee was going to lock you into certain things that really restricted your movement. Dede, where is your line in the sand then at, hey, I still want to keep my LLC, or?
I'll have to think about it.
So can we agree, maybe a motion to continue this?
Motion to continue.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to continue this matter to our next meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Okay, so in your packet, the last page. We have we have the RFPs for our events. Shredding is handled by Greenfield Banking Company, so we don't have to worry about that. Hazardous waste, we only got one bid for Caldwell Environmental. And their bids went up by $2 a carload. So it'd be basically the same. I have the 2026 prices versus the 2025 totals. Tires, we only got one bid for that, and that will be contracted through Caldwell's, although T&T Tire will be handling that. Paint went up from $3,100 to $4,250 per event. And that's just a flat rate. And then the electronics is the only one we have to make a decision on. Recycle Force, ERI, and Technology Recyclers all came in at the same price. Recycle Force will not be accepting any batteries. And then ERI has some additional charges for appliances, which we don't take anyway, but they will charge us an additional $5,000 for logistics and supplies and $1,500 for labor. And then Technology Recyclers has, they will take batteries, so I am recommending that we go with Technology Recyclers. I just need your approval on that.
Get a motion.
I make a motion to contract with Technology Recyclers for our electronics or electronic waste and yeah.
I'll second.
Been a motion and a second on the floor to approve Technology Recyclers as our electronics waste provider for this year. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so the State Board of Accounts end of year reporting, the 100R was due January 31st, and we got that submitted. The other reports are due March 1st, I believe, so we'll get those in. I also got a phone call from Technology Recyclers wanting to do more in Hancock County. He is interested in bringing a truck in and just parking it for a few hours and let people bring the electronics to him at his truck. And he's still working out all the details. I talked to Republic Services, and they are fine with having him park his truck at their facility and bringing electronics into them. So he's still working out all the details, but Republic Services is on board, and Technology Recyclers really wants to do something. So we're still working on that. School programs, I have 76 school programs already scheduled, and then I have 76 classrooms that will be doing the flower pot project. I'm still getting teachers to contact me, so I'm estimating those numbers are going to go up. And then I did get a call from Republic Services, and they are wanting to partner with us more on hazardous waste, which is pretty cool because that one's our most expensive vendor that we have to contend with. Not sure exactly what that's going to look like. I'm supposed to meet with him sometime the end of the week and we're going to talk about that. I'm not sure if they're wanting to host it. I don't know how they want to partner, but we'll get in conversations with that. So that was pretty exciting that they're willing to kind of partner with us a little bit more. And then I got a phone call late last week to do a program today and Thursday. It's for FARM, which is Fortville Area Resource Mission. I'm going to be doing both programs are going to be on my expiration date topic, and the one is today at 12:30, and then the other one's Thursday at 6. It'll be the same program. But that's all I have.
Any other information to come before the Solid Waste Board today? Entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, you may speak.
I'm Chad Coughenour, resident of the county, but also Hancock County Surveyor. Some of you know me. I work with Dede very closely. We deal with things with our MS4. A lot of things that she does is very invaluable to what we do. I know we got I'm not here to dispute or to talk about how the contract or anything is going to go about, okay? Just in support of Dede, but also from the standpoint, I know we have gotten a grant, well, a check from Monsanto's a couple of years ago to compensate through the MS4 for some things that they had done that weren't kosher, I guess would be the way to say that. And we would be willing to utilize that money to cover the shortfall that she would have this year through that contract, as opposed to, and if it's legal, we'd have to talk about it from that standpoint, that she would lose in the compensation. We'd really like to keep her. So just something for you guys to think about from that standpoint. I know the budgets are where they are at this moment, but we have the availability with that to be able to offset that as that goes through. So I wanted to throw that out there for that opportunity for the board as you guys look at that and go from there. So that's all I have to say. If you have any questions for me, I'm more than welcome to answer them or go from that standpoint. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We adjourn this meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
All right. I lost Steve. Taken care of.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Wait till-
Hey, Eric, can you hear us? Eric?
Yes.
Okay.
There he is.
You guys are live.
Hey, Eric.
We are live.
Live now. Here we go.
Ready? I will reconvene the February 3rd Drainage Board meeting, and then I will reconvene the hearing on Cranberry Estates. Chad, you want to?
So let's, first, let's approve the minutes of the Cranberry meeting from December. Is that December?
Make a motion to approve the meeting from December Cranberry Mutual Drain hearing.
Can I approve the minutes if I wasn't? I'm not sure.
No, you can't.
No.
You can't. So Eric can.
Eric's
and-
got to. Been moved and seconded.
Second.
You got a second. Been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes from the December Cranberry Drainage Board hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Eric?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Technology's great.
Motion passes.
All right, there
Okay.
has been a order that has been prepared for the board. Should I go ahead and read the order? So I will read the order that has been put together for our attorney, and then that'll be up to the board to either accept the order or not accept the order. So this is a petition to remove an obstruction in a mutual drain. This is called the Cranberry petition. The petitioners were Hummel, Dickman, Cameron, Thompson, and Wright. The respondents were Matthew and Andrea Masters. The findings in the order on the Cranberry Mutual Drain obstruction: 1, the Hancock County Drainage Board, so after known as board, is a duly constituted drainage board under Indiana Code Title 36, Article 9, and has jurisdiction over regulated and mutual drains located within Hancock County, Indiana. This action was initiated pursuant to Indiana Code 36-927.4 upon a petition filed by petitioners alleging the existence of an obstruction in a mutual drain tile on respondent's property located in Hancock County, Indiana. Number 3, upon receipt of the petition, the Hancock County Surveyor investigated the allegation pursuant to Indiana Code 36-927.4-12 and reported to the board that a mutual drain exists and that an obstruction was present in the form of a valve gate on the southern edge of respondent's property, formerly known as Southern Valve. The board, number 4, the board provided proper notice of a public hearing in compliance with Indiana Code 36-927.4, including notice to Matthew and Andrea Masters, now known as the respondents. Number 5, a duly noticed public hearing was conducted on November 1st, 2025, and continued to January 6th, 2026, and again to February 3rd, 2026. Number 6, the board received evidence and exhibits and heard testimony, including testimony from Hancock County Surveyor Chad Coughenour and multiple members of the public. Number 7, the respondents appeared by counsel, represented by Sylvia B. Miller, and participated in the hearing through their legal counsel, who acknowledged respondent had placed the south valve on their property. Number 8, the board finds this tile is a mutual subsurface drain tile which exists on 2 or more tracts of land owned by different owners and is a legally defined mutual drain. The county surveyor testified that the south valve is inconsistent with an ordinary tile and when closed causes an obstruction in the drain function. Number 10, the board finds the south valve exists as an obstruction in this mutual drain, and the removal of the obstruction will provide better drainage on the petitioner's land and not cause unreasonable damage to the land of the respondents. Number 11, the board further finds that, based upon the testimony provided and by a preponderance of the evidence, the south valve obstruction was intentionally placed by the respondents. Number 12, during the hearing, the respondents, through counsel, agreed on the record to remove the south valve. Number 13, pursuant to Indiana Code 36927.4-16, this board orders the county surveyor to have the south valve removed at the expense of the respondents. Number 14, the petition is therefore granted and the board finds for the petitioners. Number 15, the county surveyor is hereby ordered to remove the south valve and restore the mutual drain at the expense of the respondents. Number 16, the cost shall be advanced from the General Drainage Fund pursuant to Indiana Code 36927.4-21 and recovered from the respondents Matthew and Andrea Masters. And this would be so ordered this day on the 3rd. Also from that standpoint, we do have a quote that the Masters had received from Davis Excavation, who is actually one of our county contractors, to remove the valve on the property for an amount of $1,000. And then there's some things underneath. If there's yard repairs that need to happen, there is an additional amount that they could pay to do that. But we do have a quote amount for that as well. So that is the order as it has been read into the record.
I would make a motion to approve the Hancock County the Drainage Board to actually approve this agreement here to remove this south valve at their expense.
Second.
You can't second.
You can't.
I can't
can.
second.
Second.
Sorry.
Okay.
Take
There
that
you go.
back.
All right, Eric seconded it.
Did he second?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt the order to remove the obstruction. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
You can close the hearing.
Make a motion to close our hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we close the Cranberry hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes.
Thank you.
That's done.
Mr. Moore?
Now we need to
Close our normal
close.
meeting.
The solid waste, okay.
Yeah. We recessed.
Next meeting will be
We
on
recessed
March.
Whatever. We need to,
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Yeah. Second.
been moved and seconded that we adjourn the February 3rd Drainage Board meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
All right, you want me to sign?
Well,
Thanks, Cory.
Chief Wilch and Trustee Mickey Simunek. Simunek, that's what it's Simunek, isn't it? Okay. Thank you, Cory.
Right? Mine's not.
like that on something where so obvious.
It's over?
I just submitted a proposed order.
Good afternoon. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk to us. Essentially what we're trying to do is I wanted to give you an update and some information and then just ask for kind of your thumbs up to go and present to the RDC. Essentially, the goal that we're looking at is the current MOU that we had worked with the county and with the RDC is set to expire this year. And so the request that we're asking is to look at creating a new MOU that would be a 2-year MOU. And so just real quick, I wanted to shoot through a couple slides to give you some information. We had an increase of 8% in our run volume. Of that run volume, 15% was to non-residential within our township, so those would be the TIF businesses within the township. 27% of our total runs were dispatched to mutual aid, assisting the county and our surrounding departments within the county, and then 31% of those overall are specifically to the TIF. So we had a 15% increase, but 31% of our overall run volume. So when you're looking, there's 58% of our total run volume is actually not just township that we're managing. The one thing that I did exclude out of this is car crashes, simply for the fact that are those from the TIF businesses being in, are those residences, or is it 50-50? I mean, I prefer to, I'll keep those numbers out, but if you want to see those, we can bring those in. And so that's a service demand that exceeds beyond just the township that you guys are aware of and that we've talked about in the past. And so looking at our total run volume, this is from 23 to 25, and then this is just a forecast going into what 26 and 27 will look like. The mutual aid is shown in the red, and then the TIF, or to the businesses within the township, is shown in a yellow. I think we're going to see a change in this, and I think that the forecast is actually a little underwhelming for the businesses, simply for the fact that the number of businesses that are projected to come online, from the hotel and event center to the apartment complexes that we've got coming on, so forth and so on. But again, just to kind of give a quick representation. The other thing that I think is kind of relative is talking about the assessed value within Buck Creek Township. We're the green line, and so the top left is going to be the residential, the 1% AV. And so as you can see, we're the lowest of the 4 career department areas indicated. Coming into the ag non-homestead AV, the 2% is the bottom right. Again, we're on the low end of where that total AV comes into play. Where it gets a little impressive is when we start talking about the AV on the 3%, which is your industrial commercial. And so looking at that, when I presented to the commissioners and the council back in 2023, I said we were on track to surpass Greenfield in the AV in this realm, and we have surpassed them and continue to do so. And so looking at the green and the trend line and the projected line, I think we're going to continue to see that grow as the AV grows and as we have additional businesses that come online. And so looking at that, this is where the TIF also comes into play. And so this is the TIF AV that's being captured out of that. And so that lines right up with the growth that we're seeing that AV is being captured. Something else that I think is kind of impressive that I just wanted to give a visual representation to. This is from Google Earth. This shows Buck Creek Township in 2021. And then we flip over and look at 2025. And so just kind of the quick flip between the two shows that there's been a significant pop in the warehouses that we've had within the district. The map even indicates Amplify over towards the right, so you can see it's even got the Amplify being on that as well. And so from that perspective, there's something else that I wanted to kind of show you. We just recently attended a mega warehouse seminar. If you recall, back on March 16th of 2022, Plainfield had a warehouse fire. It was a 1.2 million square foot Walmart distribution center that the facility was a total loss. And so Plainfield has actually done a debrief on this. There is a National Fallen Firefighters Association document. It's a 77-page document. If you need something that you want to read on an airplane to help you pass the time, it actually is a very insightful read. But they also did a video that is called When the Sky Turned Black. And that video kind of goes into some of the challenges that they faced, some of the long-term impacts that had. And I just thought it was a really good video and wanted to share that with you. I'm not going to show you the video, but I just wanted to share that link, and we'll share that with you as well. And so the ask and the proposed going forward, and again, this is going to be for the RDC of what we're looking at. This is the same proposal I'm going to give to them, the same information I'm going to give to them, is entering into a new memorandum of understanding for 27 and 28. And the reason that we stopped it at 28 is in talking with Gary Poole. He shows that programming for the RDC looks good through 28 in order to be able to sustain this. He has some concerns in 29 and wasn't sure that making a commit to 29 at this point was going to be in the best interest of the RDC. And so we understood that and didn't want to push that extension from there. Asking to maintain some flexibility in the funds. Previously, we did it for specifically staffing. We're looking primarily to use these funds for staffing, but having a little bit of flexibility with some of the uncertainty and legislation that's going on right now, from SEA 1 of last year, and then some of the bills that are being presented this year. I'm just asking for a little bit of flexibility in the fund usage from that perspective. And then continuing the coordination between the department and the RDC, and then continuing our coordination with you guys and the council as well is just the ask that we've got. And so with that, my ask is pretty straightforward and simple, and just asking if you guys would support us going to the RDC, because I know that as we're on their agenda, the first question they'll ask is, have you talked to the commissioners? And so I just want to say that, yes, we've talked to you, that you guys acknowledge that this is something that is worth looking into, and then that they can take a look at the MOU and determine if they want to engage in that going into 27 and 28.
So where's your finances? Because originally when we looked at this originally, it was because you guys were short.
Right.
You needed men and all that. Where are we at now?
So the MOU that we did said that we would bring on 6 new staff, and we did bring on those 6 staff. Our staffing went from 8 per shift to now we're at 10 per shift. And so if you're asking where we stand overall, I'll give you 2 answers. One is in talking with Greg Garitas, and when he came out 2 years ago and looked at what is the right size of where we need to be, we targeted 14 per shift as being the right size. So we're still under target on where we need to be from a staffing perspective. I'll introduce here in just a minute, but we've also got the 4787 President Chris Collop, who represents all of the union firefighters within the county, and then also Phil Spencer, who is the District Vice President for Buck Creek that represents the union firefighters within Buck Creek Township. They had a survey, an assessment that was done on Buck Creek Township, and shows that even that 14 is still under where we need to be targeted at. And to give an example, to give an idea, at the 1.2 million warehouse that Plainfield had, they had 33 firefighters on their shift, where we were sitting at 8 at the time, and we've been able to move up to 10. So we're still behind the 8 ball, but we're progressing. Our budget from some of the AV appeals and the natural growth within our budget, we're looking at adding 1 additional position per shift, so that will bring us to 11. And then with looking at continuing this MOU, we want to add another position to that to bring us up to 12 per shift is what we're targeting.
So, and how are you going to sustain this?
So we've already worked with our budget growth that we've had has brought us up to a sustainability for the 6 that we've brought on. And so what we've been able to do is we have, with using the funds that we've had available, what we've been doing is we've been catching up on some of the capital purchases that we've needed to over the period of time. So it's been as we have, because that was one of the biggest concerns that was brought up from the RDC is sustainability. And when we did the 3-year MOU, our budget growth was projected out to be able to offset that difference, and it has. So from the projection to right now, we are in a position that we are able to sustain the 6 that we have brought on without concerns. And so now going forward, the additional allows us to continue our capital and our staffing, and our projections on the increases that we're looking at will be set so that we'll be able to sustain that additional position. And then we're also have been working on our capital long-term plan that has given us some insight so that we're not getting hit with some large expenses all at once. One of the things that we were not doing well is we weren't forecasting out 10, 15 years on some of our equipment, and it was all of a sudden we had an emergency. Now what we're doing is we have a capital improvement plan that goes out 10 years. We take it out 15, but there's a lot of questions because even at 10 years, knowing what a fire truck is going to cost is very questionable. So we've built those plans out as well so that it creates that buffer so that as we get through these 2 years, we're looking at that sustainability and already being at that point just from the growth that we're expecting within the natural budget growth.
I know you mentioned manpower. Was there anything else that you have spent some of the redevelopment commission monies on that you can share with us?
So it's the money was focused towards salaries, and what that allowed us to do is that allowed us to free up. We had, as our budget increased, that allowed us to do some capital purchases. So as we've shared on social media, we did do a purchase for extrication equipment. We've done a purchase of new fire gear. So we were getting into a life cycle with our fire gear where we've done that. We've also purchased an air filtration system that's within the stations to help filter out the emissions from the vehicles and some of the other gases to try and work on staff safety. And so those are the three biggest projects. And in correlation with that, something that I want to point out is that we've been working with developers and with contractors to try and get funding in to support some of those projects as well. So for instance, on the gear, we were even able to offset some of those costs on the gear from some anonymous donations that we got. And then from the air handling system, Walmart had committed $20,000 towards the purchase of that system. And so we're also, we're trying to take this as a multifaceted approach. I don't want you guys to ever feel like that we're just coming and saying, you know, we want you to solve our problems. We're also hitting the ground to try and solve our problems as well.
And you're still trying to target, did you say 15 years as your sustainability time, or are we still on the 10-year from the time this, the original grants were given to say that Buck Creek could sustain itself?
So from the original MOU, looking at sustaining the funds that we're giving in that MOU, going forward, unless there are any major changes, and again, I think we all have felt the wild card of the state legislation, providing no major negative deflections, we're projected out to be able to sustain those positions. I don't have any concern of a negative deflection that's going to create a problem of we're going to have to do layoffs with staff.
Okay. And none of those 6 people have left to go anyplace else. They're still at Buck Creek 5.
I've got one that is leaving. I've got 2. One is gone, lives out over on the west side, and so transferred out to Pittsboro Fire Department. I've got a second that is leaving. He was in another process at the same time he was in a process with us. His brother's at the department that he's going to. And so again, it's kind of one of those that there's 3 reasons I don't get mad for somebody leaving, and that is pay, because we can only control that so much. Run volume, I'm not going to go out and create runs. That's not our job. It's to mitigate them. And then home field advantage. So those are the 3 things, and they fall within those categories.
I don't have anything else. I mean, we gave them a 3-year MOU in the beginning and knew that they were going to come back.
They were going to come back.
And so I don't have a problem saying, go ahead and go before the RDC and share with them the same information you shared with us.
Yes.
And I've got the MOU. I'll give you guys a copy of this that you can take a look at. And if you have any questions that come up from it, we just did this as a generic, similar to what we had done last time. Tried to make it so that it's very straightforward and easy as can be.
So we don't need a motion for this? Okay.
No,
All right.
because he's going to be able to tell the RDC that he appeared before you and you expressed, thoughts.
If you don't mind, I just wanted to bring Phil and Chris up just so that you guys have a name with the face. And so as they interact with the county as well, you guys know who they are. I think you do already, at least Chris. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to meet Phil, and just do a quick introduction for them, and then we'll get out of your hair, but thank you.
Well, afternoon. Like he said, I'm Chris Collop. I am the general president of the 4787, which means we cover the 4 career departments in the county. Basically anything of pay, benefits, disciplinary things, we come in and represent them. We are the ones that initiated the GIS study through the IAFF, which means they attach an analyst, finance, governmental affairs, and a whole team of people, and they coordinate with us over the computer over about 3 or 4 months. We were able to fast track ours because of the amount of growth that Buck Creek Township and Hancock County has in Indiana. So we were the ones that came to him and said, here's our findings. It's all based off of industry standards. One of the big things that we wanted to hard press on our presentation, and eventually we will come to you guys when we can get on the docket, is the fact that the 1.2 million square foot in Walmart in Plainfield is half the size of what we have in Buck Creek Township, and we're using less than half of the staffing per day. Yeah.
Field does now.
He approached us and said, what can we do? So we reach out to our international, and they say, this is everything that we can do, and we will be there the whole way. But we just wanted to get in front of you guys and say, we'll be working with you guys more, looking forward to it. If you guys need anything from us, don't hesitate to reach out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Much more scaled down version. Phil Spencer, I'm the district vice president. I deal strictly with professional firefighters at Buck Creek. Chris and I have known each other for a very long time. We work very well together. So our job is to protect benefits and make sure everybody's able to get it. Unfortunate part of where we're at now is to be so we will keep fighting the good fight, and hopefully we have you along the way.
You bet.
Thank you.
Phil, it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Again, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Bob Workman, he was here.
Okay,
Got mad and left, eh?
that's Bob.
Okay, we've got some
I got these
change orders. Contingent. Dated info.
So I've got the change order number 20. Is it, in which one is the, or excuse me, is the change order, yeah, the change order, okay, I've got change order 6 and number 20, so.
Okay.
Whichever one you want to do first.
Let's go with just pick one and go.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we approve change order number 6 for the Amplify Hancock project.
That's one of two.
Says the new contract amount, including this change order, will be $42,572,558.98.
Second. Motion and second to approve the change order number 6 and is with Veritas Advisors. And it's change order number 6 and total amount to be done from owner contingency is $82,688, but the whole document actually is $42,572,558.98. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passed.
Got that one.
Okay. Okay, signatures. Okay, here, owner. Printed name. All right. Okay, which one we done now?
And disbursement number 20, I'll make a motion that we approve the affidavit for construction fund disbursement number 20 for the Amplify Hancock project in the amount of $1,411,481.60.
Okay. I second that. Motion and second for approve the affidavit for construction fund disbursement for the total one million. Okay, $1,411,481.60. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
I gotta sign after you.
Okay.
then we've got some county farm bids.
Okay.
Let's have your little paper down there. Or is it, it's right there.
What is this Garmong?
I do not know what the Garmong.
Oh. Oh, I'll be there.
So we just had 2 county farm? Okay. First one is from MS Consultants.
You always have to look for the amount.
With a fee total of $227,068. At least that appears right. Mr. Forkham's here, so he could tell us if that's not. Okay?
Okay. Here, give it away. I'll put it all away. We're just naming them, so. Card there for Mark. Okay.
The second is from HWC Engineering. Let's see. And it appears that their fees are $133,500, but they also have reimbursable expenses at $1,500, which is an hourly rate not to exceed. So I think we probably glean through that more to make sure those fees all are proper, but at least we have 2.
And we'll make an announcement later.
Right. So
after
just
we go through them.
I make a motion, we accept the 2 bids for the county property from HWC and MS Consultants as presented.
I second that. There's a motion to just accept these 2 bids, one for HWC and one was for
MS.
MS Consultants. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So,
I think that
that's
cleans
it, isn't
our
it?
agenda out.
okay, that's down there. All right. We got any input from the public?
First of all, I want to make, George Langston, first of all, I want to make a statement. This is my own opinion, and I have not had the opportunity to discuss this with the 4-H Ag Association this year. I did mention it to them last year, but this is in the 9th year since they had their operating expense change in 2017. They're getting $95,000 a year right now. And in that time, we've had several cost of living adjustments, including the big one, over 8%. I just want to get it on the your guys' radar that they do need to have an adjustment. Okay? And you guys can talk to them and figure out what that's going to be. But that's something that needs to be looked at, especially with what's coming up here in the next couple of years. All that. That's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. There we go.